Education is more than just 13 years of attending school, more than just generations after generations sitting in a classroom comprehending the same curriculum. Education is about the connection that is made between the teacher and the student, and the atmosphere that you allow your classroom to become. It is about making sure students know they are allowed to share ideas and opinions and collaborate with others. Making sure students know that errors are merely just opportunities to learn and move forward from, as judgment is never something that should be found within a classroom. Education is a foundational element for individuals. It helps to structure and develop how they live their lives. It is important for my classroom to feel like everyone is secure, included, respected and encouraged. For it to sound like respectful communication for verbal and non-verbal students is being utilised, and like positive feedback, collaborative discussion and questions with supportive answers is occurring, and for it to look like diverse students' needs are being met and desk arrangements are cooperative. My educational philosophy is implementing strategies into the classroom environment that show students it is always a safe and supportive space where any questions or concerns are welcome. John Dewey is a psychologist, philosopher and educator who has provided an approach and theory on education that I can utilise to apply to my supportive classroom environment and for my own educational philosophy. Dewey's approach, also known as the theory of knowledge, centres on the concept of experiential learning, which suggests that the most effective way to learn is through direct experience. Dewey believed that education is a social and interactional process that should be intertwined with real-life experiences. In one of his many books, Democracy and Education, Dewey strongly believed that schools should run as small communities with students attaining knowledge by delving into hands-on opportunities and cooperative learning. Dewey's theory can also be linked to the Code of Ethics for teachers in Queensland and how care, but also responsibility, must be shown at all times. By applying Dewey's theory to my classroom, students can learn the importance of problem solving and critical thinking whilst in a supportive environment. Emerging from Dewey's theory, Nell Donnings introduced a relationship aspect to education by discovering the ethics of care. When comparing it with Dewey's more systematic approach, Nodding's theory focused more on the personal dynamics that there is between teacher and student. Nodding's theory argues that the emotion of caring should be a significant aspect of decision making. She argues that caring for and caring about are two very different concepts. Caring for being face-to-face encounters in which one person cares directly for another, and caring about being something more general and takes us more into the public realm. Nodding's theory also aligns with the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. Nodding's theory relates to teaching standard number 1, know students and how they learn. However, there is one standard that both Dewey and Nodding's theory fit into, and that is teaching standard number 4, create and maintain supportive and safe learning environments. It is so important for students to feel cared for and for them to care about others as well. Utilising Nodding's theory in my classroom, making sure all my students feel cared for, will allow them to feel heard and valued every single day. Nodding's theory is highlighting the emotional and relational dimensions of education that is needed between student and teacher. Being a teacher that any student can come to so that they can receive the guidance they need and feel encouraged and happy to be at school is so valuable for a safe and supportive classroom. Linking back to my educational philosophy, Noddings and Dewey both align with what I believe should be taught and implemented into my classroom. Through Dewey's experiential learning and Nodding's caring for and caring about notion, students can feel supported by others around them whilst learning about the ways in which they can relate the curriculum to real life. I want to be the teacher that students can turn to for feedback and assistance. If students can become critical thinkers, active listeners, and also problem solvers in life, my educational philosophy will be fulfilled. Strictly teaching students the curriculum without forming any kind of connection with them is a process I do not want to base my classroom environment on. Noddings and Dewey have provided me insight into how I can make my students feel involved and always encouraged, making sure I cater to diverse needs of any student so everyone in my classroom feels accepted and respected. It is so important in this day and age that all students feel this way in the classroom, that they are allowed to share their feelings and that mistakes are merely just learning opportunities. My educational philosophy centres on these beliefs that students should always feel welcome to use their voice in my classroom. If I can make sure students know my classroom is always safe and supportive, I will have utilised Nodding's and Dewey's theories positively and succeeded my educational philosophy. I am devoted as a pre-service teacher to making sure my future students grow into successful individuals.